recording
I
now.
think you can
Yeah, I'm recording now.
just go
I'm gonna like
pause everything again.
yeah, I'm gonna make another video anyways
Repost.
after for the channel. But anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so basically when something like this happens and my trade does not work out, that's kind of when I go back and completely like reevaluate, like, okay, what the fuck was I not seeing? What did other people see? Why were other people shorting here besides it just being a breakout of the range, right? Because a lot of people shorted this like from what I was seeing as just a breakout of the local range, and they were not thinking context-wise of the higher time frame range that they're in, yeah? So thinking about going to 74 to 78K minimum, yeah? And so whenever I saw this happen, I was like, okay, you know, these guys, pretty much everyone I saw that was shorting this was like, I'm like, this is kind of just retarded, like they're retarded. And this is also because I was traveling, right? I was traveling, I was moving to a different Airbnb, and so I could not actually see the PA unfold. And looking back at this, this was not ideal. So basically, right, if you draw a volume profile, right, starting at basically here, and the reason why I took this impulsive move down and up is because this is the point of exhaustion. Price had to come back and retest this level. So this is where, if you draw a volume profile from here to the current PA, this is what you're gonna get. Green line is the POC. This is basically our local range, right? You have value area low and value area high. And this is basically the same local range that we have been trading in, right? I normally don't trade like this. I normally don't trade volume profiles, but the thing is this did such a bad number on me mentally. It's like, okay, like something was very clearly wrong here that I was not seeing, right? So this is kind of like a learning lesson also for the group. It's never good to, whenever you're wrong, you need to figure out why you're wrong, yeah? You can't always be right, but it's like, you know, for me, because I also specifically do more mid time frame, high time frame trades, it's you know, I'm not usually expecting a loss like this, yeah? So looking more at the volume profile, so whenever price came down and tested 63K, you could consider this a deviation of the range until we got this, which I'll explain in a second. Price came down and printed, this basically just filled like very low time frame FVGs on this, or order blocks on this area. If you look at like 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute chart, you will find your OB here that the price filled, right? If you use TPO, this is technically a single print fill. So, and you can see like even now we technically have like nice-ish lows forming. Let me actually like change this to, right? So here, right? So like they're nice-ish lows. The issue becomes is when price popped out of value area high, so basically, right, if you are in, so listen, so we're in a macro downtrend, right? We understand that we're in a high time frame macro downtrend, yeah? And so the problem is when you get a deviation like this in a downtrend, right? So basically you're ranging, you pop out of the range. What price likes to do, okay? Who the fuck is texting me, bro? Okay, my bad. My phone's been absolutely blowing up today, right? What price loves to do whenever we are, whenever we're distributing here, and especially specifically a macro downtrend, is price likes to break the lows, retest, okay? This is basically massive amounts of longs opening here while price is failing to make a higher high, yeah? So this is just a very, especially on the lower time frame, this is just a very classic case of distribution, especially with your lower time frame breaker structures. Okay, so typically, whenever you are getting something like this, whenever you pop out of either the local range high or value area high and you're distributing price, price, once it actually, back here, once price fails to make a higher high, you typically have a couple levels where price will revisit, attempting to break, and price cannot just sustain that, right? And then you have the consistent lower breaker structures. Once price broke structure here and popped back into below value area high, this was basically the trigger for your short, yeah? Now, I was not online, but like looking back at this, I really looked at this. I'm like, okay, this is basically just you guys that have been in the server for like since October. You guys basically know that for me on the higher time frame, right? So typically I look at like 4, 6, 8 hour candles. whenever price slices through the range, okay, you typically have, so in this case, slice through, you typically have the retest of that flipped SR, and then order flow objective is to move to that next level, right? So in this case, if we're moving from, call it 107 to 100, okay, you have the slice through, the retest, the move lower, okay? Over here, you have the, if we go on like 6 hour, let's see. You have the slice through, the retest forming a lower high, and then price carries through to the next range high, yeah? Same thing here, slice through, retest, price revisits the next order flow objective, right? So it's the same concept, it's just presented in a different way because I was so frustrated with this fucking trade. So basically, right, once price broke structure and revisited back, and price was accepting back into value area, your fixed range here, next order flow objective would be to come back to value area low. Yeah, it's the same exact concept here, where on the more local sense, once you broke structure back into you flip this SR, you flip this support back into resistance, your next order flow objective would be to come back to your range low, right? So, and I'm saying this because it's like, okay, even though we are now like back in our 65 to 70K range, okay, and we did technically just test the value area low, price is very likely to now try to retest the POC at 67K, 67.9. And price is very likely just going to reject. Yeah, and it's going to continue down to, if you use volume profiles like the NPOC or the more like mid-time frame range low at 63K. Yeah. Now, for me, okay, and I've had this belief since, well, basically we had this V reversal. As soon as price comes and takes out this wick, it's GG. Like, it's absolutely wraps. Price is not going to stop at this wick, okay? Price is literally just going to take this out, retest, and then move lower, yeah? Whether you find support at 58K for like a mid-time frame support, it does not matter. The next order flow objective will 100% be to take out this wick at 49K, okay? And the reason why is for people that are new here, this is a massive high time frame support, right? Basically this entire range. Okay, the issue becomes is that the actual demand for this range is set external, which is 49K. Okay, so do not expect any sort of actual bounce until price takes this out, right? And that's only once we take out this wick, right? Which I've been saying now for like a month straight, right? So locally speaking, okay, the issue becomes the only two trades I'm really looking at right now are mainly this, okay, once we visit either, depending on how you trade, the NPOC or the range low locally at 63K. This is the only long I'm interested in taking, okay? I was actually going to, and I did actually, funnily enough, I took a scalp off the value area low like here, like literally an hour ago, and then just closed. It was just like a challenge account. Okay, so if price does start to find support at basically 65.7, okay, I then expect price to retest 68K, right? 68, 69K. This is basically the POC of your range here, okay? What you would be looking for bullish continuation is, of course, flipping the level, finding it, flipping it to support, and then continuing the trend up, right? Then you have to then flip the value area high again, find support, and then you can move higher, yeah? I don't think that's going to happen, though, in my opinion. I mean, we have, again, nice low lows forming, like nice-ish lows. The issue just becomes like this range, okay, is now contained like within your higher time frame range, or sorry, your more mid time frame range, which is also contained in your higher time frame range, right? So like for me, order flow objective is to come back and retest 76K before we move lower. I just don't know if we're going to do that at this point, right? Like the thing is like, okay, we've tested this low twice now, okay? Price typically like this low is not going to hold after either the third or specifically the fourth tap. Okay, 100% the fourth tap. This is not going to hold. So the only long I am looking for again is price coming back into your either your NPOC or the range low of this local range. And this would basically be the last attempt to come up to 76, 78K, right? If price does not find support here and find acceptance above and start grinding up to then target 78K, like it's GG, it's wrapped. You're absolutely not testing this level, okay, before you move lower, okay? Remember, that is solidified with the daily close. Again, so price can come as low as 60K, like basically take out this wick, and then you can have the daily close back above. But I am not biased for that. I am biased for once price takes out this wick, you're just going to trend lower, right? Like we have to remember we are in a bear market. And so because of that, like the market is very, very weak. Yeah. So just like TLDR, right? If things weren't super clear. My mistake in basically this trade here in where I longed, basically right here. Yeah. For me, as soon, and I even said this, I think I said this in my channel, if you lose 70K, 69, 70K on the 4-hour minimum, your next target is going to be back to 63K. And I think I said that like whenever price was testing this as support. And that really is like your more higher time frame objective, in my opinion, okay? As soon as you see this distributive behavior, okay, especially after breaking out of this range that we've been in for basically a month, right? Especially after breaking out of the range high or the value area high, and you see this distributive behavior with the low breaking, followed by especially in the lower time frame, these breaker structures, okay? And as soon as you find acceptance back into your range, okay, so value area high or your like mid time frame, this was support, then flip to resistance, right? As soon as you find acceptance back into here, this is where you should have pulled the trigger for the short, and especially me. You basically pull the trigger for the short, and you can target minimum value area low, so 65.7 of this range, but really your order flow objective would be back to 63K. Yeah. So yeah, I know I just threw a lot at you guys, but that's because like I really sat down for like a day and like kind of reflected on like how badly I fucked up on this. Especially like ETH. Like if I look at ETH, I was so hyper fixated on basically these 3 days stacked. And as soon as I saw the close here, I was like, okay, yeah, it's GG. Like we're totally going higher. But I really did fail to look at, it's like this did not break the SR like at all. Like this still closed within it. Yeah. Not like this, just a really stupid like mistake. And as soon as because the thing is, I chose to hold this long, and I literally got stopped out. I chose to hold it because I just refused to, I did not take the time to actually sit down and look at basically all this and look at like how retarded this was. And as soon as really, when was this? This was 7 a.m. on the 6th. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, well, this would have stopped. Okay, so basically, like, yeah, like really, I mean, in isolation, I should have closed the trade on ETH. Well, technically, once I had this daily close, I should have just closed the trade for break even, 100%. But as soon as I saw this 4 hour slice back through, this is exactly when I should have closed the trade, right around like 2080. Yeah. But like I didn't, right? And then this is like, again, I like to be very open about like when I fuck up, because it's like a good learning experience for the server, because like everyone makes mistakes, and this was like really retarded on my part. So before I get into
all right, I'm gonna go over the short recap. It was posted to my channel pretty much, yeah, from here.
Yeah, that was
So
honestly clean.
yeah, very nice. I was expecting 74.3, right? Like if you go, I'm gonna just redo these levels so you know. But if you pull a fib right from the top of, or when 97, 98K top to the bottom, you'll see that that 0.382 level lands right here, right? 74.3. And Confluence, you have your April lows, right? 74.3, and aligns like almost perfectly. And then you had your anchor VWAP, right? Your anchor VWAP, if you just pull it from again the top of this high, it almost aligns to 75K. Unfortunately, we were front ran, but I did notice that there was distribution happening and various divergence with CBD, and NWA did point this out. I seen it happening, but he did point out the third tap. And when he shorted, I kind of just waited for some more confirmation. I did get in, so little bit of props to him. But yeah, SL was above this 4 hour wick here. That should have been the high since we kind of like um this was like your manipulation candle. Your next one closed below. That's your confirmation, right? And that's when I entered. And your SL should be above this 4 hour candle, right? Because if you go above it, then this setup is invalid, meaning you're going to take out this high. So good SL, right? We came close and hit to it. And then we held down, what, $8,000 move almost? $7,000 move. 10%. First TP was, what I think here, 71K maybe. And then second TP was like 70 maybe. Third was down here, 67-ish. And then first full TP right now. So it was a good trade. The challenge account is now at $2,500. As you know, we started like a month or like beginning of February, like second week or something. It was going pretty good, and then I kind of fumbled some of the profits, but we are back. All right, so yeah, sort over a little bit of an Elliott plan, right? For the people who do keep up, there's a couple people who actually do keep track, but a little bit Elliott plan, right? So this is kind of almost like the setup I gave, beginning of February. Like this, like this, and then this. Now this is adjusted, obviously, as a whole month of price action. We're going to adjust it. So my channel, I posted that I wanted to see something like this play out. Hold on. I wanted to see something like this play out, where you had a 1, 2, 3, 5, right? So it's yellow. Yeah. So where you had a very impulsive move upwards towards like 83K, right? The minimum target was 74K. That was targeted, from these lows 60K, and the minimum target did hit, right? So I signaled that I bought spot down here at 61K, and I sold 30% of it, 74. I'm still holding, so the rest is pretty much break even. I'm expecting one more pump, like 70K ish, then I'll probably sell the rest or just react depending on what
Yo,
resistance comes
Fi,
up.
yo, dum dum, restart your stream.
What do you mean?
Restart that shit.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
it's lagged. I think it's lagged.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Move the mouse real quick. Oh yeah, it works fine.
What was the last time? Fuck, what did it leave off on? I don't know.
Some people were saying it, some people were not. Just keep going.
Alright. Anyways. Hold on. The fucking redo this. Alright, anyway, so yeah, we were looking for like minimum 74K. It came, I sold some spot. Um, and then again we shorted. But now this path isn't validated, right? So what we are seeing next is one of these two. Or this also next is going to be validated, but we are seeing one of these two next, right? So we're going to adjust this A. We're going to say that, okay, A completed here. Your B is going to be completed down here somewhere. And your C is, yeah, still targeting like 78K. So this is called an expanded flat. When you have your A as a pullback, your B goes higher than your, let me remove the pink one, probably confusing. So yeah, so your A starts from here, right? It ends here. Then your B starts where your A ends, and then your B ends here. So your B wave has to end above of where A started, right? So it ended above where A started. and now your C is going to end below where A ended, right? So it has to come below, right, this level, 62K. Now this is called an expanded flat. So you'd expect the lows, you know, to be right here, like 61.3, 61K. Hold on, right? And then that's when you'd have your completed pink B, meaning now you go over 78K, right? And this is completely valid until 60K is taken out. Now, if 68K, if 60K is taken out, then I think it is fine because you're going to expect much lower to come, right? You're not going to expect a 60K sweep, in my opinion, and then a bounce up. You're going to expect, you know, more like, let's see, more like something like this, right? Where you come into this kind of tight range until you eventually break down and you take this 48K look that Tac was talking about in stream, right? Me and Tech have had these target for a while, and it's our signal to know when we want to buy Bitcoin, our spot, right? So we're waiting for this wick to be taken out, and once it is reclaimed, that is when I personally am going to be buying Bitcoin, right? And Tech probably be doing the same. If you fall below this wick, then you can go lower, but if you guys want to know where, how, what, just type, and I'll explain it. But um, right. So your scenario one is this become like 61K, and then we expand higher, right? Your scenario two is that's almost the same, pretty much. Is this is your A, you're coming for a B that is going to be above like 63K probably, so ending somewhere here, and then a push up again into 678K, right? So that's scenario two. Um, Either one again is completely valid unless 60K is taken out. If it's taken out, then of course, you're looking at something different, and yeah, you're not going to be interested in any longs, in my opinion, until you're hitting that like 48K wick, honestly, or at least spot. Um, yeah. So those are the bullish scenarios. Bullish scenarios is that you still have higher to go. Low time frame real quick. Yeah, we hit a long level, but I'm not interested because there is not much buy pressure going on with order flow. So meaning, yeah, it's just there's no buy pressure going on at all. So this low doesn't really look that good, honestly. Um, a long setup that I could see right now is if we SFP the low, right? So if we come on, the 15-minute or something, we'd want to see, you know, try to do something like this. You take the wick, you come above the day level, you retest, right? And then your long is going to be like this, and you're targeting. Well, I target this down channel. I'll go over a second, but yeah, right. So your long gonna be something like this as it's F4 TP1. Why targeting that? Is because on the hourly, you can obviously see that you're in this kind of like low time frame downtrend on the hourly, right? You have this pretty major resistance going on, right? I mean, there's one, two, three, four, five, I don't know, just a ton of candles. You can count that, but if you can flip this major, downtrend hourly resistance, then you can expand higher, right? And where do I want to see expand higher is going to be on this 4-hour trend, right? This was a 4-hour trend I gave probably 2 weeks ago now, and I said it was very important that we flip it for expansion, right? What did we do here? We flipped it, we retested it, and we expanded, right? We expanded off of it, what, 6%, 7%, right? And this was a long trigger but it was hit at, yeah, 3 a.m. So me and Tac did want to get longed on this move, but we kind of missed it, and Tac was forced to kind of, just get in late, and then I took a short, like a short with a 300-point SL that got stopped, but then again we shorted here, so it worked out. But anyways, now once you get above this, hourly downtrend, my next, I guess trend target is going to be this, right? The 4-hour, right? Because you see how you broke below. You kind of want to see a retest breakdown to confirm a very powerful breakdown that like has came. So let's say you push up, and you get a retest and you keep going down, that's very bearish, right? That's very bearish, and you're at minimum coming down to this bottom one, right? Your minimum target is going to be coming down to this kind of uptrend, right, on the 4 hour. But now let's say you flip it, then I think it's very easy that you're going to get 7,500. You flip 7,500, then 72K, etc., etc., right? So yeah, longs are going to be um, sweeping previous A low or coming a little bit lower into, where is it at? Coming a little lower into this 50% wick, right? You guys should know the 65K level is it's been a very important level, right? It's been bouncing all around it. But I think it's very possible where we could like sweep these lows. This is low right here, right? Kind of like sweep these equal lows almost. Hold it and then bounce up for a lower high. I don't think I don't know that if we would sweep and then get a very impulsive pump, but again, just take each level by level, and let's say the hourly trend is not broken by then yeah, so it would be the same plan, right? As if you long the previous a low sweep, you would, let's just mark 65K right here real quick. You know, you would again, you could take a long off the 50% level, make sure it holds, and you're going to be targeting this downtrend, right? If you flip it again, you're going to be then going for the 4 hour downtrend, right? So just playing level by level. And besides downtrends, there is confluence, right? You don't only want to have a confluence from one, TA tool, etc., whatever. So it's kind of like maybe a little folder, just pre-prep it. But if you pull the fib right from the high to the low, and I'll put on the fib settings so you can see, 0.32, 0.5, 0.618, you can kind of see how that's 0.382 is emerging with your 4 hour downtrend. So you do have that double confluence there, and depending how long it takes for price to get here, this anchored VWAP right from the top might even align, right? It might even align here. So you might even have like a triple confluence trade here, which are can be pretty strong for a short setup, right? But of course, as levels are hit, you must look for reactions. Like when this 67 or 65.7 level was hit, um, I didn't immediately take a long. I did close my shorts, but I did not immediately take a long because on order flow, there is no shorts at all trapped. Like there is no shorts at all trapped in the zone. Like very minimal shorts are trapped in the zone. So it is not enough for MMs to target to cause a short squeeze, right? Like if you came back to last week Saturday, I think, right, when you had this big drop off, you had a ton of shorts piled up here, and that was the reasoning for this big short squeeze, right? It came in, in like what this was NY, and between NY and daily close, you got this pretty good 6.5% pump because you had a ton of shorts accumulating down here, right? So that is a key signal for a short squeeze. But here, you're not getting the same thing. You're not getting really any shorts at all. So there is nothing telling me that we're going to get some substantial pump, so some substantial, 6.5% pump up to 70K right now. But now again, if we see, the previous day low swept, and then you get those shorts accumulating, and then yes, you're going to be saying, okay, a ton of shorts are trapped. There's millions of dollars to target above. Now MMs can push this, right? Um, yeah. So two long setup, 65K, 65.7 sweep. Short setup, this downtrend. The 1 hour downtrend can be a short setup too, if you get rejection. But I don't know if I would take it, to be honest, because this is going to be your, it's kind of like one, two, what, three? Your third time, it's going to be your fourth time hitting it. So, each time hitting a level, it gets weaker. So honestly, I don't think it'll hold that strong resistance once it goes. Maybe on a low time frame, it would do something like this. Rejects, pull back tiny bit, and then pump, right? So honestly, not interested in shorts there. So yeah, 68, like what is this? 68 8K. Flip that and then 70K. Let me see what else. Oh, well then, yeah, if you play a range to range, right, if you use a volume profile, like Tac was saying, you have now came down to your value or low. So then your next, I mean, your next obvious target, playing range to range is going to be 68K. Um, but again, you have to have other confluences. You can't just be trading, one confluence at a time. You have to look at what's happening behind the charts. You know, what's going on with the money? Is your money being trapped? Is your money, is Bitcoin being bought, Bitcoin being sold, et cetera, et cetera. Um, right? And right now, it's not telling me that I should long, right? It's telling me I should wait. So, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep waiting. But yes, if you're playing range to range and you're going to be targeting POC 68K next, you flip POC, then you're targeting 70K, right? So it's kind of the same thing with that 1 hour downtrend where you flip it and then you flip POC. Yeah, 70K is coming.
Yeah. There's a guy asking you if you're recording.
Yeah, I'm recording, Brad. What else do we got? Yeah, clear range breakdown. I mean, yeah, just to add into Confluence that like 70K short, right? You have your like your deviation above your breakdown. Now, if you come back up, that is like your breakdown entry, right? Like your breakdown retest entry, right? Like some breakout traders will look for a retest and then enter, right? So this is kind of what you're looking at, right? You're looking for a retest of the range breakdown and then you're shorting to 0 or whatever you're targeting. But these don't always come because if you look at our previous range, what happens, right? Where was it at? Yeah, if you look at our previous range, what happened, right? So this was a marriage level that I gave for the whole, like this entire range. And you can see how we broke out of it. We got no retest, right? We came into retested, okay, that could have been bullish. But then what happened eventually, right? We broke through it. We got no retest. And even I, right? I personally, this whole pretty much 10 days, I was waiting for a retest of the breakdown to get more shorts in, right? To get more shorts in again and easily target 80K minimum. But you can see how sometimes, those retests don't happen, right? So you have to be aware that, this retest breakdown might not even come and we might just keep falling, right? And that is why you have to have other short setups, right? Which is what? There's this 68 AK level, right? That I talked about. Um, so yeah, you always have to have like a backup plan. I think that's it for Bitcoin for now. I don't know if anyone wants like a high time frame view, but Tac pretty much went over a lot of that. Alts, yeah, alts I don't got much. It's kind of you're in a range, right? It's pretty much the same thing for everything. Um, ETH had your range breakout deviation manipulation, right? And then you got back into it. You're in the midpoint. Um, if it keeps staying below the midpoint, then you're targeting range low. So same thing, right? Manipulation. You're at the midpoint. Keep staying below the midpoint. You're targeting the range low. Hype is staying strong as I guess expected, right? I don't know. Hype being doing its own thing. It's low-key. It's honestly kind of still weak. I don't know. I mean, it's not like weak, but it's in this very scary territory where there's not much support, right? There's not much support under it, so it can, in my opinion, it can easily just kind of drop like this, very quickly. It can very quickly get a 10% drop. USDT, yeah, USDT, yeah, it looks bullish. I'm not really interested in shorting this. Um, a short signal for this would be coming below like 8.043%. If you got a daily close below, then you could be targeting this gap, I guess, here, right? So you could be targeting like maybe a 3.7% move. I don't know. We'll see. Um, what's next? Doge. Oh, Doge looks like Doge hit my long targets, or I guess long setup. The long setup was you're obviously in this range. You have to go on a 2 day. Let me drink some water. Hold on. Okay. So Doge is right in this range, right? Let me you have to go on a 2 day to market because the daily is manipulate. you have this big manipulation candle. But anyways, your range low, your range high, and your range mid, right? Which is the yellow line. You can see how when BTC just dropped to 65K, Doge just swept all these lows, right? It was swept what, one, two, three, four. Or no, those were already swept. But it swept this kind of major low, which was previous week low, right? So you mark this previous week low. This is a valid long setup, right? But I'm not longing yet because I'm not interested when I don't like I don't like taking trades if I don't like the way Bitcoin is acting, right? Like if Bitcoin looks like it has nowhere to go, then I won't take a SOL trade, right? Or a ETH trade. But if they are both aligning, then yes, I will take the trades. Let's say BTC pumps up to 68K. I think Doge can get like a 7% pump, up to the mid range. Um, and then here you'd want to take probably like 50% of your profits, and just be careful that you could get rejection again, right? Where you could get rejection and drop back down. So I would definitely secure profits here, but if you flip it, then you're going to, if you flip it here, you're going to get this type of expansion to the range high, right? XRP, I mean, yeah, same thing. Everything is the same thing. Um, CME, I would go over CME gap. You have a CME gap here, like this, right? So the CME gap opens exactly where our monthly open level is here, right? And I was kind of showing NWA this. I'm not really familiar with TCT, but I know this is like a distribution pattern, right? We have like these triple highs. It's a distribution pattern, but I'm seeing something that I use that it's saying that this pump is a distribution and bearish. But yeah, if this does happen, then I honestly be interested in taking a short also, because you're coming into retesting the monthly open breakdown. You're having this distribution pattern. You're having weak CVD, and then you're also um, right. If you go back to CME, you're going back to testing the very first, I guess the first level of CME to gaps, right? Like if you're familiar, or if you watch the streams, or if you watch me talk, then you'll know that how I play CME gaps, right? Level one, level two, level three. So you're going to be coming into level one, where it's very important level, because if you reclaim it, then you can go up into level two. If you reject, then obviously you're going lower, right? So that is a confluence, right? So right now we have what? A distribution pattern, one confluence, a monthly open, two confluence, CVD week, three confluence, and then maybe if I use one of these fibs, yeah, you have a 50% of this drawdown, so it's four confluence, right? So this is a potential trade that can happen, that I'm going to be having eyes on. But I think that's it. Any questions? Because I'm pretty